Today is October 9th. Today's quote is entitled, Krishna's Forgiveness. There's only one instance where Krishna doesn't forgive. This is when the devotee is offended. Durvasa is an example. It's interesting that Durvasa is going to all the gods to explain himself and ask, can you help? Just like sometimes we offend someone and we go to all our friends to explain how what we did wasn't so bad, and we talk to relieve our guilt. But we never talk to the person we offended. And in this story, Krishna gets to explain how dear a devotee is to him. So let me explain. Yesterday we talked about Krishna's forgiveness, and we used the example of Putana as extreme forgiveness, and how there's so many instances of Krishna forgiving different devotees for committing mistakes, and how we should follow that example. But what is the example where Krishna doesn't forgive? It's when his devotee is offended by another person. He doesn't forgive, he cannot forgive, because that devotee has to beg forgiveness from Krishna. Krishna cannot forgive. Krishna is the most forgiving, but he will not forgive when we commit an offense to devotee. That should be a powerful mantra. Maybe we should tattoo that on our forehead or something. Krishna is not happy. We cannot be forgiven when we offend Krishna's devotee. So, Durvasa offended Ambarish. Durvasa asked for forgiveness. He went to Lord Shiva, went to Lord Brahma. How can I be forgiven? So we're giving the example here. Sometimes we offend somebody and we go to friends and we talk about it, and well, it really wasn't that bad. We make excuses. And so Durvasa is like, what's going on here? This Sudarshan chakra is chasing me. Like, what I did, it wasn't that bad. I'm Durvasa, I'm a Muni. And, I get mad. That's just who I am. That's my nature. What's the big deal here? And so he's trying to relieve himself, and it doesn't work. And he goes to Vishnu, and Vishnu gets to speak about how dear he is to his devotees, how dear he is and how dear the devotees are to him. And eventually he says, you have to go back to Ambarish. I cannot forgive you. It's not possible. Only the person you offended can forgive you. So Krishna is very forgiving when you offend him, and you offend his devotee. Krishna can't forgive you. Only the devotee can forgive you. Something to consider, right? So then Ambarish Maharaj is waiting for Durvasa to return, and Durvasa returns. And he grabs onto the feet of Durvasa, of Ambarish. He got the message, he made a big mistake. And Sudarshan chakra is there, like waiting to destroy Durvasa. And Ambarish Maharaj is so embarrassed that Durvasa is holding onto his feet. And while he's holding onto his feet, he's praying to the chakra, please just let him go, let him go. So this is the nature of a devotee. So we learn two things from this story. Number one, Krishna will forgive everyone and anyone, but he won't forgive, and he can't forgive when his devotee is offended. But when someone asks forgiveness of a devotee doesn't say, well, I don't think you deserve it, and what you did was so bad. Maybe, after a year I will consider forgiving you, but you have to come to my house every day and cook and clean, and then I'll consider it. The devotee doesn't think like that. Sometimes we feel like that. That's our conditioned nature. But if someone asks us for forgiveness, ask a devotee for forgiveness, the devotee immediately accepts. He doesn't want another person to suffer. He doesn't want to take revenge on another person. It's not the mood of a devotee. A devotee is not in passion and ignorance. Resentment is in passion and ignorance. That's why devotees are not resentful. So that's why Ambarish was praying to Sudarshan Chakra, please don't do anything to destroy him. I just want to say one more thing. The quality of forgiveness is very special because it shines light on all other qualities. Now, let's say Krishna wasn't forgiving, or let's say anyone wasn't forgiving. Prabhupada wasn't forgiving, your guru wasn't forgiving. There was no forgiveness given by anyone. How could you have a relationship with anyone? How could you serve them? Because if you make a mistake, they're not going to forgive you. And so if you offend Krishna or Guru and they don't forgive you, that's a disaster. So nobody could serve Krishna if he wasn't forgiving. And it's interesting, I mean, this is what the Acharyas say, but it's interesting that one businessman said the same thing in the corporate world. You can't serve a boss who's not forgiving because you'll be afraid to fail. And if you're always afraid to fail, your creative juices close down. You have to be extremely cautious. You can't think outside the box. So it's the same thing. So forgiveness magnifies one's good qualities. If one has many good qualities, but not forgiveness, then has no forgiveness. And it ruins everything because you can't connect with them. So that's a very interesting aspect of forgiveness. In the Vedas, it says forgiveness is the Vedas. Forgiveness is Krishna. Forgiveness is austerity. Forgiveness, it just goes on, verse after verse. So you kind of see the all-pervasiveness of forgiveness, how it enters every realm of action and thought and consciousness. It's a very interesting topic.